Welcome everyone to today's podcast. Paul, recovered addict, Peterhead, Scotland. I'm very pleased to have been joined today by Wendy.
Hi everyone, my name is Wendy and I'm a recovering addict and I'm in Essex.
Lovely, thanks for joining us today, Wendy. So today there's going to be various resources on the screen. Feel free to reach out underneath wherever you see this podcast posted. If you're looking for sponsorship, we've got current male and female lists of folks that are ready, willing, and able to take you through this 12-step process. So you can be liberated from the obsession to drink and drug. There'll also be information about how to attend meetings. If you're looking for numbers or you want to be added to a very healthy WhatsApp group or groups, or you're looking for resources, put your first name, your number wherever you see this post, and we'll definitely get back to you. So once again, there is a solution, folks. You never need to drink and drug again. It's a program of mercy, a program of truth, a program of love. And there's lots of resources on this channel indeed. I think there's now probably over 24 personal stories. There's podcasts on this channel of each of the steps. I think there's 2 on step 1 and 2 on step 2. There's 1 on the spiritual malady, the ABCs of addiction, the entire psychic change, on each of the traditions. There's a whole plethora of resources, folks. So fill your boots, get involved, take some action, and more will be revealed. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to hand the floor over to my friend Wendy. Over to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Wendy and I'm an addict. I think we've all got horror stories, what it was like when we was young or like growing up. But I don't want to keep this like very short on what it was like before coming to recovery. So for me, I was born into a very dysfunctional family system, and alcohol and all the chaos that comes with it. It was the norm for me, like growing up in all that. Because, I could never call anyone an alcoholic or an addict in my family. That's not for me to call them that. But, just the dysfunctional side of people drinking and what it would lead to, like the violence. But to me, I thought it was normal, But so I didn't really say drinking was really a big thing. But when I did drink, I was a bit of a protector, like I would fight people that started my friends because I think from being bullied and stuff, I become like a protector, like if I saw anyone being harmed. And when I say for me drinking, I wouldn't say I really drunk a lot because I didn't. It weren't really for me. But when I did, I can be reminded on a Monday if I've done something wrong on a Saturday being out or Thursday, it'd be like, oh, do you know what you've done? And I'm like, no, and then that didn't last very long, because I thought, right, I know how the family members are drinking, it's not for me. But then I went into drugs. 17, 18, I started using, as you do, amphetamines and coke and then crack. And, I got myself off the crack, but really stayed on the coke. And it was that brought me into the rooms. When I first came in, I wouldn't call myself an addict, my thing was, I think I've got a drug problem. That was kind of what my thinking was, I feel I've got a problem, but I'm not an addict, because our head want to lie to us. So, but I'm really grateful for I see for my higher power, how I see it now, was working with me actually before I come into a meeting. Because it was mad. I had a Christian lady that actually was in contact with me, and it's very difficult because I was trying to act straight, and I'm basically high. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if I tell this person, what I'm doing. she's going to judge me, you know, because I always kind of saw religion as being judgment. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to say anything, do you know? But anyway, one night I actually said to her, she's a Christian person, and I said, I think I've got a drug problem. I said, but I don't know what to do. And the first thing she was like, you know, I was winning because I was so broken, because it was either I'm going to see myself hanging, do you know, because that's how it was, on a balcony outside my house, or I've got to do something about this. It was like an Armageddon moment. Like my whole life had flashed past me, like, you know, about my sons. And I was like, whoa, this is too much, you know. And I was too weak to actually commit suicide. You know, I thought, no, I'll probably survive. But anyway, with that, so you know, this lady said, well, can I pray with you? I was like, yeah, you know, because by then I was so broken. I was like, I'm up for anything that's going to help me. So I prayed, and then I remember that was on a Wednesday. On a Thursday, I went to some like Christian meeting, but it was just for women who had addictions. And I actually met two people there that actually did CA. And so I went to this meeting. They were like, oh, have you heard of CA? And I'm like, no. And they were like, oh, well, we're part of CA. You know, didn't tell me too much, but said, look, you know, I can come and there's a meeting on the Friday. This was one that was in Loughton in Essex. And so we'll take you. And, you know, I was like, yeah. Again, I was like, totally hopeless. Yeah, I'll go to it. So I went to this meeting on the Friday. These two ladies, you know, picked me up, took me to the meeting. Also the shame, or do you know, like when you first come into your first meeting, you're just like, oh gosh, that's very daunting. But I just remember having my head down, probably crying for the whole meeting. Didn't really know what was said, but I could tell you what shoes you're wearing, because I was just like, my head was down. And you know, so I started hearing the suggestions, you know, keep coming back. Take a commitment, get a sponsor, do 90 meetings in 90 days, like everything you get told to do, you know, like when you come into a meeting. So I was like, okay. So anyway, for me, I started like doing the 90 meetings in 90 days. But the problem was I was going into the meetings and I would come out and I'd be straight on the phone to a dealer. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, do you know, I'm getting very frustrated and thinking, well, I'm going to these meetings and I still can't get clean. Do you know what I mean? So I'd go to all these meetings, and then first of all, I'll go in and, you know, newcomer, and I'm like, yeah, picking up all these white key rings, because I would leave a meeting and I'll be straight at phone to a dealer. Then I'll go to the meeting the next night, I'll come out, be on the phone to a dealer. And you know, how many white key rings I picked up first of all was just probably loads. But then it was just one night I was at a meeting, and I just remember someone holding the big book up, like, and said, "This is the solution," you know, and everyone's sitting down. And I remember I stood up in this meeting and go, you know what? I need to go through that book, because these meetings ain't keeping me clean. I'm not knocking anyone, you know, that does the meetings and they get recovery just doing the meetings. But I know for the kind of person I was, the meetings weren't enough. I had to do everything else. So, you know, that night, me standing up, someone actually put a book in my hands and said, right, I will help you, you know, we'll go through the steps. So I was like, wow, you know, because I think I was upset, because I was more frustrated now, because I was still powerless. I was going to the meetings, but I was so powerless. But then, you know, I started going through the steps. And doing step one, I think for me, it was actually coming into the meetings, you know, kind of saying, well, I'm busted, I'm broken, I can't stop using, you know, and that was like my step one. And the other part of my step one was looking at, oh, I'm actually an addict. I think it was like actually my step one that I got so grounded in the step one stuff, identification in the big book, you know, of AA. And for me, I made it personal. So I kind of rubbed out, you know, like I would rub out the alcohol and put drugs. Because for me, not saying that, you know, got all these, what could happen, but it was drugs that brought me in. So I would make it personal to myself, you know. So then going through the steps, and it was like, wow, this is amazing, you know. It was like I started getting a freedom. And so step 1, 2, and 3 really helped me get grounded. And also with my step 3 got me grounded with God, you know, a higher power, my own understanding. Because I kind of was confused when I was young, because I used to go to a Church of England church, but I went to Catholic schools. So, you know, 1 minute I'm sort of praying to Mary, next minute I'm praying to Jesus and God, and I'm like, right, who is actually, like, you know, my God? Because I get kind of confused, you know. But I come away from church. I was like, you know, my mum would try and get me to go on a Sunday morning, and I was like, no, don't want to go, don't want to go. Like, you know, I didn't want to go to Sunday school. I was kind of done with it. But in the evenings, my mum would go to church, and I was a beggar for me to go in the evenings. It weren't because I wanted to go to church, but it's so I'd go and see my granddad and my aunties and my cousins, because I knew where my mum would go after. And I learned from quite young that my granddad's house was a safety place for me. It was the one place that I felt safe, that I was actually around my family, that even though, you know, there was parties, there'd be chaos, but going to my granddad, that was my safe place where I could be comfortable. I remember playing like dominoes, like with my uncles, and my auntie would take me to the shop and get sweets, you know. So for me, that was really my safety place. But so I would say this, you know, because how I saw God, you know, I was kind of confused when I was younger. But then as I come into recovery and got to my step 2 and 3, I was like, yeah, I've got a connection with a higher power of my understanding, you know. And it was very powerful because that helped me go through my step 4. So I see step 4 for me is actually healing, do you know, because all the stuff that I was carrying, beating myself up about, feeling disgusted round, you know, dirty round, I could write it all down and get it on paper, do you know, and so I thought, wow, this is a blessing. And it was, I think, before I even done my, you know, my step 7, I was doing step 4, just having it all down. I was going to meetings and I felt free, do you know, and I was like, whoa, and I was just doing my step 4 because I didn't know how wrapped up I was in my fears, in anger, in my selfishness and self-seeking, do you know, and so doing my step 4 or 5, like seeing my part and everything, really helped me start having compassion for other people. It came from my step 4 and 5, you know, getting compassion. Because I thought, oh, I went about, you know, really bad. But, you know, when I was using, I didn't think about the chaos I was causing for family. You know, my family thought they were going to get a phone call to say I'm dead somewhere, that, you know, or an ex or a dad is going to kill me. Do you know, these are now like when my family came honest to me when I, you know, made my amends to them. But I didn't actually know that people really cared until they go like, we were so worried. You see like the madness, but none of us could help you. These are all the things, you know, like some of my friends and family were actually worried about. And to me, I thought, well, you know, I'm not harming anyone else. I'm only harming myself, do you know? But when you go through this process, I'm like, gosh, I did really kind of affect my friends and family, especially my family, do you know? And yeah, obviously it's very emotional going through them steps. It is, you know, like, but it helped me start understanding that I was sick. But at the same time, it also helped me to understand other people are also sick. And, you know, we all do things that I've always believed everyone has got an amazing heart, because I feel my higher power showed me that with everyone from doing the steps, that God has showed me like hearts on everyone. And I see, you know, no one's bad, but stuff just taints us. Like I see, well, I become tainted because of circumstances, everything else. But when I got freed from that, it was like my heart actually come out, and I did start really having more caring nature and having love and compassion for everyone. And yeah, those I found like, you know, really, really powerful, and actually having a bit of compassion for myself, you know, and that's what this is about. But as you know, I was told, well, you need to be selfish to become selfless. So when he's saying about being the selfish, it was so I could get my recovery, you know, to get clean, get strength, get stronger. And then when I got that, to be able to go out and help other people, you know, and it's like, yeah, I was selfish. I didn't tell anyone when I first come into recovery that I was in. I went through the steps, and then I kind of got in contact with people that I used to use with and that. And they see a difference in me. And I was like, yeah, you know, like then I wanted everyone to basically get recovery, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so free. Come on, everybody. Like, you know, you can all have this. So, but yeah, that, you know, and I would actually started having some little book studies around my house. I would have book studies go around to other people's. I would sponsor. Very important you know, taking on a commitment, because my first commitment, I was a meet and greet. You know, it was very important of doing a commitment, because it kept me going back. Because my head would go, no, don't need to go tonight. You know, well, it's only a day, you'll be all right. But having a commitment, it kept me going. So for me, I started as a meet and greet. I become a tea person. And then I was about 6, 7 months clean, and I was basically told, right, go and, you know, put your hand up being a GSR. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, you know, that's big, like being a GSR. But I had some really good people and go, look, put your hands up, we'll walk you through it. And you know what? I would say for me at that time, in 7 months clean, becoming a GSR was amazing, because I got to learn so many different things of actually, it's not just our little meetings, you know, that the bigger side of like doing H&I and being on committees to help with conventions. And it's just really powerful that really helped with my recovery. And actually I got then the wisdom to be able to start meetings being a GSR. So, you know, that was a really positive place for me. And I would say, like, now, you know, I don't boast this saying, oh, you know, how long I've been in recovery. But you know, I'm over 16 years clean. In January, I keep it in a day, but January I'll be 17 years clean. And it's one thing I've really learned in my recovery is doesn't matter what I go through today in life, I do not need to pick up. Do you know, it's for this year's been really tough, like mentally, I would say spiritually, physically, you know, from family members passing away to me actually having a breakdown, literally a bad breakdown, that I was actually in and out of hospital for a few weeks. And as I got reported, you know, I couldn't even tell you what my name was. I didn't know where I lived, but this is insanity. someone might say, oh, you know, dry drunk and stuff. But for me, I had an operation that absolutely done me. I didn't let it kind of affect me, first of all, because I was like in a chaos that I didn't really know what's going on, but I had a mask on, you know, and it got me through like, well, it just got me through for months. But then what happened, I went back to a place where that mask come off. I couldn't fix anyone. I had to really then look at myself, and it brought me into a dark place that mentally my brain had just fried. So for a few weeks I was in and out of, you know, hospital. They were drug testing me because people thought that, you know, I'd relapsed, that I, you know, was spiked or something. And it was like, thank goodness I went to the hospital, because I was drug tested and they could say, right, no, you know, you haven't relapsed and anything like that. And then they were going, well, you've had a breakdown. And I got diagnosed with autism this year. Then I got told, well, I've also had an autism burnout, you know, but even with all this, I didn't use, you know, I was getting told that I was trying to run out the hospital. I had security trying to stop me. But it's just so to keep me safe, because I went so, like, in a sense, manic to vulnerable and didn't know where I was and things like that, to actually coming round. I think by like the second week, I just on the Friday I was actually in a haven. It's a mental health ward. I was there for a couple of days. And I was like, look, I've got a convention. I mean, it's paid for, like, you know, I've got to go to this convention because I thought, you know, it's going to help me. So as I was talking to the mental health nurses and all that in the hospital, when I was saying about this convention, and they were asking me questions, you know. And again, what great it is for being in recovery, even to give a bit of knowledge and understanding to the mental health workers and nurses in the hospital. And I showed them where I was going to go, you know, and they're like, that'd be good for you. Yeah, we could see that'd be good for you. Are you going to be safe? And I'm like, yeah. I said, I think I've been one of the safest places, because conventions for me, like, I was 3 months clean going to my first convention, you know, and I loved it. And I just know if me to go to a convention, that even though people there, I'll probably be like literally in chaos, mind, mentally, but I got there, you know, I could actually drive my car, go to this convention that was amazing. But as it is now, because it doesn't matter, like, if you're new or how long I've been in, or people after, you know, before me, that my mind can, you know, it's the insanity part can go. And I am grateful that I did have people around me that kind of, some that did understand and a lot that didn't understand. And it, you know, but with that, I'm just grateful that I come through it a day at a time, you know, that I go by the whole, you know, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. That's what I do today. Do you know, I check myself because my mind can still go. So I bring it back to the basics, like what I kind of got told, you know, prayer and meditation. I love it, you know, and I love doing the Zoom meetings to do like my inventory at night, be able to talk to other people. I'm really grateful for that, you know. And even though I'm in Essex at the moment, I'm actually like in Cambridge in temporary accommodation. And the first thing I did when I got to this temporary accommodation was, right, where's there a CA meeting? Do you know? And I actually, well, the first one, I was going the wrong way, but I ended up getting to a CA meeting and felt home, because I just believe, for me, every meeting I go to, I've got a seat in it and I'm home and I'm safe. And it's a blessing. I think I went like how God, you know, has worked in my life. Like, even when I said been busted, he's, mate, you know, my higher power's been there. and it's like being by my side. And so I went like to this meeting, in I was saying like in Peterborough, and someone said to me, like, oh, there's service there's service going. I was like, okay, and I was like, well, what isn't there? Go, oh, secretary. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Do you know what I mean? Didn't think twice because I thought, well, I'm in a new place and the meeting will keep me coming back. I will feel safe and be able to be of service to others, and it's really has helped me. Like, I look forward to going to the Sunday meeting. But not just that, it's like I went to a lot of meetings, different meetings in Peterborough. I still do books, I'll go to book studies because I look at it that I am in 24 hours, do you know what I mean, of the day, and things can change just like that. So for me, I'll keep it in a day. But I'm grateful that, for my car, I'm grateful for everything in my life right now that I can get to meetings using my car, and I'm grateful I can take on a commitment. And but it said, no matter what circumstances I go through, that I don't have to pick up. I would say, like, I would say the dark side of recovery, because there is a dark side. And what's sad is that everyone gets it. I've been in meetings where I could be talking to someone sitting next to me, and I've actually heard, like, 2 weeks later, that person has died because of this illness, do you know? And it kind of started making it even more real that if I don't work a program, I don't do what's suggested. If I go back out there or go out, I'm either going to die or I'm going to end up literally in a very, very dark place. And I don't want that, do you know? And like last year, this was the toughest one. I actually sponsored someone and she got a few years clean. And I don't know what had gone on because I actually moved away. And anyway, like so last year, I get a phone call from my friend's daughter going, can you come to Harlow? And I said, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And she told me, look, my mum's not well. She's in hospital, but she's like, can you come and see her? Because at the time I thought when I get there, I'm going to be able to talk to her. And that wasn't the case. Well, I was living in Hastings at the time, and I actually drove. I don't know how I didn't get a speeding ticket, but I literally drove straight to the hospital from Hastings, like to Harlow. And then I come in and I was in the ICU waiting area with all the family. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I thought I'd coming out to be able to come and see, my friend. But we're sitting there for hours in the waiting area. And then it was about 9:30 or something. We get told we can go in. And I was told that, look, she's very poorly. They're trying to work on her for, in that time, a few hours, pumping her to tying her up to machines and everything. So when we actually come in, the doctors were saying that she's not going to get better. They're basically keeping her alive, and they had her on dialysis, but they couldn't really give a lot of pain meds because she's on the dialysis, it was just filtering back out. And, being this a blessing, even though it was sadness, but it was a blessing that, thank God, that I was clean and sober and could be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, actually be by the family side. And they're all in having to make this decision about, turning the machines off. And they actually then asked me, what do you think, Wendy? And I said, you know what? She's not going to get better. and we've got to let her go. She said, got to let her go. I was like, because one thing I know, she would not want, especially a family, like, you know, you lot, standing around seeing this going on. She'd want you to, like, you know, not be in that pain and suffering. And so I said, look, you know, they asked my decision. I said, let her go, turn the machines off, you know. But it shows me, you know, I know I like live on this side, but it shows me this illness, you know, that where it can take you. And yeah, and I'm really grateful, you know, that the family phoned me and would be there. And it was so lovely because I actually prayed. You know, I could pray with her, and I turned around. I might get emotional now, but actually seeing her daughter also had her hands on her mum. And I just opened my eyes and she was praying too. And we both looked at each other. And that was the power of God, you know, that, you know, sometimes God works in mysterious ways, you know. Sometimes he does heal. And there's other times when he's like, it's just their time, you know. I can't ask God or judge anything God does. I would say, well, you know what? He knows it's that time and it's time to go. And, you know, but it was just nice that I'm still in contact with the family. And when I was at the funeral, you know, I was actually there with the family, like sitting with the family. And you know, hearing what they're all saying about the sister, the daughter, you know, and then actually hearing the best time they had with her was the time when she was clean and sober. They might have been a couple of years, but they actually got to know, you know, the sister, the mom, and the daughter in them few years. And yeah, you know, but it's a very big for me to realise, like, a warning, you know, I might, you know, this could happen to me, could happen to anyone. But if I went back out there having some time of sobriety, it's not going to end well. And when I hear people coming into recovery after a relapse, and, you know, here go, do you have a great time? I've never heard one person go, yeah, it was amazing, you know, oh, it was great. No, they're coming going, nah. It was like you know, I died. That, you know, I hear this and I take my hat off to people, not, you know, say relapse and coming to the meetings, because a part of me go, I could do that. I do not think my pride would go, nah, you can't have this time going to a meeting until when you relapse. It's like, oh, kind of daunts me, you know? But I'm just grateful that, see, I do the things I need to on a daily basis. I talk to other people. If I can't get to a meeting, I'll do my Zoom stuff. You know, I can be there. And my amends, you know, my biggest amends I actually give out is staying clean and sober, because I know my family, no matter that, I ain't perfect. Don't think I am, you know, I'm not. I'm not some God guru. I still make mistakes, you know. I'm still human. And I look at it, I'm still an addict, one day at a time, trying to get better, you know. That's how I see it for me today. I'm still like, so when we go, wow, you've got this amount time clean, but I look at it, yeah, but my insanity, my mind can go as me walking into a meeting, being like a newcomer coming in. But I'm just so grateful that people in recovery that have been so supportive, you know. And yeah, I love it. I'm so grateful for CA meetings, like any 12 step. Because for me, you know, I did the 12 step in like CA, but I'm grateful I've got 16 other fellowships that has also helped me, you know. And sometimes I have to revisit their meetings as well, because I say, oh, my other addictions can come out. But you know, I'm just so grateful that there is like a 12-step fellowship for nearly everything we need to go through, you know, what we go through in life. There's actually a fellowship for it. And the other gratitude I have, you know, is me being an addict. My own has become a detox centre, you know, with my sons going through, especially in lockdown, where there was no services really available. And I remember sit there with my, you know, my sons going through detoxes with them, just reassuring, sitting there for 24 hours, making sure they didn't try and harm themselves or kill themselves, because that's how they all, you know, they felt. And I'll leave it on this, but I'm so blessed that one of my sons is actually in recovery. And he is like, you know, he came in when he was 20, he's now 21. And he's, you know, he's done the steps, and he does a different fellowship to me. But this is what recovery's given me, that I know I can't fix everyone. I couldn't bring my friend back who passed away. I couldn't bring my family members back that committed suicide this year and stuff, do you know? But I'm just grateful that if we just help one person, do you know what I mean? Because I keep it days up one person for them to come in and get recovery and seeing the light come in their eyes. I absolutely love that. Do you know, it melts me, and I actually have tears when I see someone with it, you know. Wow, the difference. It actually makes me cry, but with joy, because I'm like, someone actually can have this and got this now. And just keep doing it. You never have to relapse. Never have to relapse. I don't really believe in promises. I don't, you know, like giving promises out. But the 9-step promises, I do promise that all day long. And then goes, well, you know, if you say I can promise, and that is doing the 9-step promises, because, you know, so I'm not living, obviously, like how my circumstances are. When I say, like, you know, people might have more than me, or I might have more than someone else. But it's today is that I'm alive and I can be of service to others. And if it weren't for God, recovery, you know, with everyone, their unity, I won't be where I am. So I'm always totally 100% grateful for, you know, CA and everyone in it, because thank you, you know, I would say thank you to everyone, because especially in the day, you've all helped me stay clean and sober. That is even with doing a meeting, being able to do service or doing Zoom, you know, I'm just grateful for everything, because it's helped me to where I'm at today. And if you don't mind, Paul, I'll leave it there.
That was beautiful, Wendy. Thank you so much for being here today with us. We so appreciate you. That was a great share, my friend. Yeah, it is a commitment and it is a lifestyle. And you spoke there about being there for others. You know, you spoke about being present. It's a beautiful share. Just a few halftime announcements. Okay, folks. So there's lots of other podcasts on the channel. Please check those out. If you're new, or maybe you're coming back from relapse, we do strongly suggest getting through a round of these wonderful 12 steps, so you can be liberated from the obsession to drink and drug and find a new lifestyle. If you're looking for sponsorship, as I say, put your first name and your number underneath wherever you see this, and we'll definitely get back to you with a male or female sponsorship list. A sponsor is someone that's been through the 12 steps, has a working knowledge of the steps, fellowship in the literature, and is willing to help you so you can be set free. Yeah, so if you'd like to be added to any WhatsApp groups, looking for resources or other numbers, let us know in the chat. That was so beautiful, Wendy, and you spoke there about being available. You know, and it was wonderful to hear about your son who's in recovery and gone through the steps, through the 12-step process as well, and that's truly wonderful. You know, it is a wonderful thing, Wendy. You're right, to see people get set free. You know, and for folks learning to live clean. You know, and to stick around to carry the message like you've done wonderfully this afternoon. And you know, we just appreciate you taking time to carry that message of hope and freedom. And you know, when a family member, especially a child, gets clean as well and learns to live clean, That's just a wonderful thing, and you mentioned there about seeing someone, how it melts you, when someone else recovers. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I've completed step 12 with a precious member today. And, we did it over, I think we did it over 3 different half an hour, 40-minute phone calls, in order to at least try and address the question of sponsorship and how to take people through these 12 steps, which I do in about 3 to 4 weeks, working together each day for half an hour, 40 minutes. That's shown the best results for me. And whilst they're going through each step in their own time, they'll do a podcast on that particular step and also read that step out of the 12 and 12 alongside the work out of the basic text of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's just been such a blessing, talking about sponsorship and asking, if she's ready to do it now, or, if she wants to wait a few weeks, and the process involved, and the technique she's going to use, and what boundaries she needs to have. So that was just such a blessing, and to know for a fact that very shortly she's going to be taking someone through these steps. And you mentioned gratitude for the fellowship as well, Wendy. That was beautiful as well. Each one teach one, and as soon as I heard you share a little while ago, I thought it'd be wonderful to hear you carry this message here of hope and faith and courage for others. So, in terms of like seeing this miracle, have you had the experience of seeing people then going on to like help others in the process as well, Wendy?
Yeah, no, I have, and that's another thing that's brilliant about this, I have seen it, I've seen the people I'm not really like see as many people that I first come in recovery with, but it's like if I go to conventions or now and again when I'm on Facebook, seeing other people of like, wow, like, their clean time, and it's like, wow, that's the power. So yeah, I love this, and I can't spit no more, it's like this working these 12 steps is like, it has given me a life, I said earlier, whatever I go through, I don't have to pick up. And that's the beauty of this. And seeing others recover and be like 10, 12, 13, 14 years, it's just amazing. So thank you, Paul.
It really is. It truly is. And I've got 2 friends of mine in view at the present moment. One's just celebrated 9 months. The other's just celebrated 7 months, I believe, 9 and 6 or 9 and 7. And I remember their first meeting. They were desperate. One was in a rehab. The other one was not doing very well, had literally just come off the streets. And they both got a substantial number of continuous months of sobriety, and both of them are helping others now. One of them's taking others through steps, the other one isn't, but he's supporting others, and it's just such a beautiful thing. The 12-step recovery system is one of the greatest things on earth. There's no question about it. Completely free, and always available. And you mentioned Zoom as well, Wendy. What a thing! What a thing! And there's probably 200 different Zoom meetings going on right now. As we speak. I think there's over a dozen 24-hour marathons, 12 NA, 6 NA and 6 AA different marathons going on, 24-hour marathons permanently on, alongside hundreds and hundreds of other Zoom meetings. Of course, if someone can get to an in-person meeting, then that's a really good idea. If you're listening to this and you're struggling to stay clean, or you're struggling to stay emotionally, mentally well and clean, I'd warmly suggest you get some in-person meetings. And you mentioned those. You said you moved to a new place, and one of the first things you did was find out if there was a CA meeting, and you went along and you felt at home. Isn't that an amazing thing? It truly is a refuge, and to be safe and protected, we have to be in the middle of the herd, don't we? In the middle of the bed, as it were. We have to be connected. And, I've seen a sober network with the difference between staying clean and not. A lot of folks, they don't want to maintain, for whatever reason, they're not prepared to maintain a sober network. And I've seen it be all the difference. Similar, I suppose, to taking people through the steps. We can be very idealistic in meetings, but the stark reality is less than half the people go through the steps take others through the steps. That's just how it is. Unfortunate, but reality. And for that reason, increasing the amount of people pick up again. So taking others through the steps and having a sober network and doing service is sponsorship, Stepwork, service, sober network, the 4 S's. That is a surefire way to stay clean and be manageable. And miracles happen in meetings. There's a podcast on this channel that me and Margie did a few weeks ago, Wendy, that you probably enjoyed. I think we called it Meeting Maker Miracles, because Margie is one of those miracles that wonderfully appeared and has now got a good number of months and is working with others, and she's an amazing, amazing lady in Texas. And we're so thankful for her as a group, her message and her support and her service. She chairs a meeting each week in our group in Week in Recovery, which is on 3 times a day, every day, CA meeting, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9:30. And it's always a pleasure to hear her share and support others and encourage us in our recovery and participate in our sobriety, So, we do have a few minutes left, Wendy, and I wanted to just ask you, about prayer, the importance of prayer and meditation in your life.
Yeah, well, Paul, I don't, for me, I don't just pray in the mornings and at night. I pray through the day, and I'm kind of blessed that somebody, let me actually pray with them. And I always have a list of people to pray for, that's always a big thing. But yeah, I said, I like it. I enjoy that. Say in the mornings, for me, I do the step 3 prayer. I do the step 7 prayer because I ask for my defects on a daily basis to be removed. Like I actually will be out because I know what my defects can be. So I ask for them to be removed on the step 7 prayer in the mornings. And I just sit, and it's like, well, get on with my day. But I love prayer and I love seeing prayer work, and now, what a blessing. I do like my inventory with the Zoom meeting at night, I do my checklist. And I said, if I get resentment, I don't just put like yeah or no. If I've got yeah, I'll go and get my sheet out to do a step 4 and I'll do all my columns, And I still do that today. And that's one thing I would never, stop because I'm thinking, I can't just put, yeah, I've been resentful. I think, well, I've been resentful. I've got to do a step 4. And then I'll do my step 4 and then I'll go through, do my inventory. But I just, yeah. And the thing is today, I tell you, it's like prayer. I don't get as much resentful now because doing these steps is giving me compassion to others that, I'm never going to be able to change people. I can't, I'm not God. But with all this, it's humbled me. I think when I first started, I had resentments up all the time. But now it's like I actually have like this compassion that I'm more understanding towards people. And that's how it feels, I think, with the prayer and meditation and is understand what my God, how God would do these people. Because I know God wouldn't want to punch them or, hurt them in any way and abuse them. I just know it's to show love and kindness. And I'm grateful that, I do have compassion. And sometimes, I do have to walk away for some people, but just know that I can pray for them and just pray because I know there's nothing else I can actually do. But yeah, prayer and meditation is a really important part. And yeah, so day and night through the day, I always say, like, "Thy will, not mine, be done." I've had to do it with my mum, bless her. I love my mum to pieces, but we can actually clash. And today, it's what I was praying. And I was like, "Thy will, not mine, be done," But I love my mum, but it's just that we can clash. And with something that, I pray through the day and just my mum feel like peace and joy. But it's nice I can do that. And if anyone else, I'm being right, I just take a minute, breathe, and just pray, and it helps me. And I'll leave it there.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Wendy. That was beautiful. Yeah, prayer is the most we can do, and thank you, help, sorry, please, guide me in my recovery, keep me clean and sober today, show me where I can help. I commit myself to you, grant me wisdom for this Stepwork call, grant me understanding, wisdom for this person I need to ring, show me the way forward. Praying in the shower, on the throne, washing up, waking up, going to sleep, in the car, walking. Prayer is the oxygen of life. So it's the most you can do, because the steps tell us that the power comes from a person, and that person is God. And the creator, the living God, the creator, a living relationship with a living God is what keeps us clean ultimately. And God is a person. When we first come to recovery, Great Britain and much of the world spiritually, a very, very dark place. A lot of people get very confused and they get their bits in a twist about the word God. Well, there is a creator, it's not you. So you're already an accountable creature possession anyway. The steps are about getting right with your source. It's never been a religious program, but there is a creator, and we come direct to God just as we are, and we ask for help and freedom from our defects of character. We make amends, and we get right with God, and we maintain a general manageable relationship with God. In the second step, you have some vague idea that there's a better lifestyle, that there is a solution, and therefore you make a commitment to it in the third step, commitment to God. And you go through the steps, you get step 11, and step 11 tells us that power comes from a person, and that person is God. And God gives us power through a personal relationship. And it's a great way to live. Instead of looking for power out of bottles or spoons or pipes or foil or spliffs, you get power from God. And God keeps us clean, Wendy, doesn't he? And gives us power and strength, to move forward. So on the screen at the moment is meetings. There are, as I said, stacks of meetings. If you're new, you will not be asked to put your camera on at any of these meetings. So never feel you can't go to a Zoom meeting worried about putting your camera on. Your cameras are entirely optional, as is even unmuting. You won't be asked to put your camera on or share if you don't want to. Conversely, if you want to share, you'll be able to share and slowly build a network of sober, sane, moral, prudent folk who will help you rebuild your lives, reconstruct your lives. And so you bear in mind, you can pause, rewind, fast forward, and share this podcast. Feel free to like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. In other words, more people will see the podcast if you take a moment to like it. And all these meetings on this screen are on every single day. There's a couple of 24-hour meetings on there, so you can always get to they're healthy 24-hour meetings where you can always hear a good message of hope and freedom and courage, get some identification of the problem and the solution. So without further ado, I just want to hand it back to you. If you've any closing words for our listeners, Wendy, it's been a pleasure hearing you this afternoon. Would you like to share anything else with our listeners?
Yeah, well, the other thing I say that is about prayer. My sponsor made me write, the Francis is it Assisi prayer, and that's prayer that I do every night, and the mornings. I might say that's not a prayer I do, but that was suggested, over 16 years ago when that was put, written in my big book. I still do that prayer. And I do find that really powerful as well. So, but yeah, so if you're new, are really struggling, just reach out. There is plenty of people about that will, that support you. Even if anyone wants my support, I'm here available. So if anyone wants to talk to me, and then put their number wherever, I'm happy to stay in contact. But I would say, God bless you all. Thank you, Paul, for letting me do this with you today. Like this podcast, it's there, and share my experience, strength, and hope with you. And I just really hope that someone's got something from this. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'm grateful, Addict in Recovery.
Oh, you're so welcome. You've been phenomenal. You've been a joy to listen to. You've been absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely sure folks will have appreciated your lovely share. Now, I wondered, in closing, I put it on the screen, I wondered if we might read this through together, and then I'll just close out the podcast with an amen at the end. Is that okay, Wendy?
Yes, that would be great.
So, just one more time before we go, Wendy, if there's anyone here looking for support, yeah, put your first name, your number, and we will definitely get back to you. Okay. Prayer of St. Francis. 3, 2, 1. Lord,
make me an instrument of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love. Where there is wrong,
I may bring
the spirit of forgiveness.
That where there is
discord,
I may bring harmony.
Where there is error, I may bring truth.
Where there is doubt,
I may bring faith. That where there is despair,
I may bring hope. That where there are
shadows, I may bring light.
That where there is
sadness, I may bring joy.
Lord, grant
that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted.
To understand
than to understood. To love than to be loved. For it is myself forgetting that one finds.
It is by forgiving
that one is forgiven.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for being here. Okay, folks, stay safe, stay strong. Check out the other broadcasts, and we'll be back soon in the next one.